Hi everyone. I'm actually just making this quick video. It's actually concerning something that I actually did over the week while I was actually, finishing my last class. Yeah, today's the last class of the week of the whole semester, the teaching class, and after that I'll be doing marking and everything, and yeah, grade entry, and before I enter the final grades for my students, and then eventually, get to the point where I have to just start packing for my trip. Okay, and then my hair's really messy, everything. But just forgive me for that. But I wanted to talk about something that I did this week. Okay, I actually watched BL. Okay, meaning boys love drama. Okay, for this week. It's like the first ever boys love drama I ever watched because simply I don't really know what is it, the genre. Okay, to be honest, I have no idea what the genre is. Um, there was one Chinese um, drama with, was it Xiao Zhan and Lin Yu Bo, something like that. I can't remember the actors, but it was something based on that kind of like very medieval um, fantasy world of two people, the demon and the demon world and the fairy world. So yeah, it's just that the whole thing, but it doesn't seem to be so close because as in Chinese culture, the whole idea premise of BL, boys love drama, is really not fleshed out under the kind of highly conservative and restrictive censorship, of you mean the environment censorship. So in Korea, however, this whole thing about boys love BL drama seems to be kind of this emerging genre in television drama series, and not just drama series but even in movies. And there are actors like even new and young emerging actors who are not uh, gay, who actually take up this kind of roles, even being like heterosexual men, simply because it offers them more exposure. And you have like very famous, not necessarily all, but some famous actors, or relatively I would say better known actors, who take on such roles. And they, I mean, in Korean society, which is as about as conservative or even more conservative than Chinese society in some cases, you don't openly say that, okay, like that even actors who are not this who are not really gay, okay, they actually openly they don't openly say, oh, I'm acting as this gay character or this queer character in this movie. They don't say that. They just like, for example, Steve No in the movie Love in the Big City, uh 得都是上 yeah. That means in direct translation, it means the way of falling in love in the big city. Okay, which was originally based on a novel by Park Sang Yong. This movie itself, was in the movie, Steve No, who's actually a pretty known actor for his role in Pachinko, the Korean drama series. Actually, he actually what did he do? He actually appeared on one particular program, and I think it's Jim Jungkook, which is who's a pretty well known former singer from Turbo, then became a solo artist, and then from a solo artist, he became this kind of like a minor celebrity online and on TV, who runs his own gym, but he's pretty famous. Yeah. So on Kim Jong Kook's channel, he said, oh, he works out together with him and another of his friend, who's also like a competitive bodybuilder, and he tells him, oh, I'm trying to put on weight and everything. And Stephen was talking about his movie, and he said, um, I'm acting this role, which is not of a conventional sexuality. The way he actually described that character. He didn't say directly that, oh, this is a gay character. In the Korean words that he said, it's an unconventional, uh, unconventional, untraditional sexual orientation or something like that's kind of like a very common thing in Korean society, where there's kind of like I call Elijah, or Elision, the eliding of non-traditional or non-heterosexual or non-heteronormative sexualities. So the whole idea of it being queer, you don't say it's queer, you just say that it's not conventional. It's a kind of understatement or euphemism in a way. It actually also shows a kind of like relatively conservative attitudes in Korea, in South Korea itself. And I was watching that particular drama series, which is what was the title of that one? Shinip Sawon. Okay, it means the new employee, the one who just entered the company, the newly employed. So this was actually something I wanted to watch it quite some time back, because it was a really new drama series. There were two actors in it. One of the actors, Moon Ji Young. Okay, he's I think a relatively new actor. And the other one, the other actor was Kwon Hyuk, who's like taller than him by about at least half a head and more. And yeah, Kwon Hyuk is really, really, really very tall, and he has a relatively, more muscular build. But one thing was this: I realized that, one thing I was quite surprised when I watched that thing, because I was thinking, in that kind of conservative environment in South Korea, don't talk about North Korea, but which is totally different whole ball game altogether. But in South Korea, when you have all these kind of things, as I said, there's a kind of attempt to elide the mention of it. It's like don't ask, don't tell. But other than that, there's this whole fear. I won't think that. I mean, as I said, most even heterosexual actors, some of them do take on roles as gay characters, and it's no big deal, even in their drama series or whatever, or in movies. But when it comes to this, there's always a fear, especially when it comes to a drama series or movie which is exclusively themed around gay subject matter, such as like about gay man who wants to find love. Okay, it's not like just one character alone, it's just the whole thing. So the whole world is basically the whole gay world in that sense. You have different kinds of gay characters and everything. So the issue for most of these actors would be, will it affect their careers? And on top of the career thing is also the issue of whether because they might get blacklisted by some people who are some producers and script writers or directors who think they wanted a more like conservative approach to the whole thing, to actors and to employment of actors. And so it could potentially, there's always that kind of fear of them getting blacklisted. It's always there. Okay, no one is kind of like not aware of it. But on the other hand, I was thinking that there's also another thing about the demographics of the BL genre, because I've been wondering, because I used to tell my friends about this genre, because it's that you have all these genres which were, especially in Japan, countries like Japan, and also I think Thailand. The BL genre was pretty established in these few countries, and even in Hong Kong, it used to be Hong Kong before the Chinese government took over, and all the censorship and everything. But the thing was, this genre has been around for a long time in Asian cultures, in East Asian cultures in general, especially in Northeast Asia and even Southeast Asian countries. And the whole thing is this: it's no such thing like Brokeback. It's not Brokeback Mountain, which is based on a novel written by women, okay, about two men. But it was a very different kind of whole take with kind of BL thing. BL is the drama itself. Literally BL means boys. So the assumption is that the subject matter, these are not about mature men. These are about very young men. Maybe at the most they will be maybe around early 30s, or that's the oldest they can get. Okay, it doesn't go any more beyond that. Okay, so and what else? So most of them are always in their 20s or whatever, the characters. And on top of that, the demographics, I was talking about demographics of the audience. It appears there's a complaint by some of the, like, we read the Reddit posts, and I was trying to do some research on the whole thing about the demographics, who actually predominantly watches BL dramas, or even BL movies. It doesn't appear to be men in general, or unless from what I gather, for me, my interest is just solely academic, because I majored and studied performance studies and film in in university. And the thing is this, I kind of realized that the nature of the audience is not exclusively gay. That's a very strange thing, but it is true. And I actually realized that there was actually a very good heavy female following for BL drama. And it's not just men, okay, who are um, open to it, open-minded, or who are, if not open-minded, who are at least, gay. Or it's not just that, it's not exclusively that. And it's also including women. There's this idea that we know that, I know there's an idea, that's kind of stereotype that goes on, that like men have about lesbian women. I mean, like, I also don't get it at myself. My friend used to say, Kevin, what is it with your guys about your obsession? She was asking me that, your obsession with, like, your guys obsession with two women together, and you all, like, want to be like in a part of a human sandwich. I was like, no, there's no such, it's not that, it's not true. Not all guys and not all, like, straight or bisexual guys like that, and I don't think it's true. I told her that. And it's like, it's the whole idea, because I mean, to begin with, you look at it this way, that whole idea of two lesbians being caught for a guy is very, it's a form of fetishizing, putting this whole thing about queer sexuality up on a pedestal. So that's the thing. And of course, when it comes to BL drama, you get that kind of reverse. It's not, in this case, it's not men putting two queer or lesbian women on a pedestal, okay, or instead it's actually women, okay, putting two gay men, or at least one gay and one bisexual man, or whatever, or maybe in some cases a straight man who's deciding that he can be curious or whatever, on the pedestal. And the whole thing is a kind of reverse fetishizing of men by women. So but it is the kind of demographic that appears in BL drama and BL movies, surprisingly. And I realized that it's not really true. That one friend used to tell me, she said, oh, that all this thing about two guys together in Japanese culture, in those cartoons and those BL cartoons and manga, is actually okay for their culture because it's so patriarchal, but two girls together in those cartoons is not acceptable. I say, no, that's totally not true at all. Okay, you can have all these kind of expressions in Japanese culture, and whether in, I mean, not really just in pornography. I have never seen any of these things, but I would assume that even in the BL the culture, you have like that between girls too. So in that kind of entertainment, or like manga or animation culture, whatever. So okay, but back to this whole thing about the demographics. Just taking aside all this, I just wanted to kind of like give a review of my experience. This is my first time ever watching a BL drama. So the Shinip Sawon, okay, this is the new employee. Is, from my point of view, I'm just watching as a guy who's like, okay, what is it like? Does it look anyway remotely like pornographic, or I mean, I wasn't expecting that to be pornographic, but because I had one experience once where I was in the bus, someone was watching something, okay, I was wearing the nurses, the scrubs, okay, were cleaning. I was like, oh, this clinic is in front of me in the bus, the upper deck of a bus. And I was like, I don't assume there's anyone. It was only me and behind at the back, right at the back of that upper deck, and he was a few rows in front of me to the left. And then I was like, with my peripheral vision, I was looking around and said, oh, he's watching something interesting. I was like, what was he watching? So I was like, from a distance, I could see vaguely, oh, it's actually, okay, I don't want to get censored here on YouTube, but it's just like two boys, two guys, okay. I would say that relatively at the oldest, they are like early 20s in that particular drama. Basically one guy was shagging the other guy in a particular position, like a variation of the missionary or whatever. Okay, that's I mean the equivalent of the missionary in a very homosexual sense. But okay, that's the whole thing. And I was like, okay, so he's not aware that I'm actually behind him by a few rows, wondering what's this guy watching. So I just like, okay, never mind. Let me continue doing other stuff like reading my books or whatever. So I later, oh yeah, I got a light from the bus. I alighted, and then I walked past him, and he just looked at me and said, oh, the kind of look is okay. Someone caught me watching, I don't know, either a BL drama or pornography. Is that oh, and then I told a Russian friend, was like, oh, wow. And then another friend was he said, oh, this guy is really horny to watch it in his clinical assistant scrubs on the bus. Yeah, so I was like, okay, yeah, I know, but it's like compared to that, I was telling some friends, watching BL drama is not that bad. A Korean BL drama compared to that particular one, because I said two guys were in that particular scene that I saw him watching were like, they look quite dark, so they're probably not Korean. It's not a Korean BL drama. It looks very Filipino or very Thai, yeah, with the skin color which is so tan. I was like, okay, then what else you notice? Nothing much, because I was quite surprised that he was doing on the bus. So, but my friend was like, she's the Russian friend was saying, oh, sometimes I like watching it. Hearing for a girl, okay? She said, I like watching it because some of the guys are very cute or very hunky. It's like, oh, okay. So I am very sure that it's not a very the audience of BL drama is not exclusively male or even gay or even curious, okay? It's just simply it can be quite diverse, surprisingly. You have like very conservative, and that friend of mine, she's like Muslim, like she's Muslim. Yeah, she's Muslim. I mean, she's nominal. I won't say she's not very conservative as a Muslim. She has obviously watched it before, and she's very open-minded. I mean, she's Russian. She's half Tatar on her mother's side, but her father is a Russian Orthodox Christian. Yeah, so the whole thing with all this, and it was like, okay, talking about it. And so but let's go back to the whole thing about that drama. So the drama series basically is about a new intern. This man, like in his early 20s, like he was just a graduate from this particular university, as university. I don't know what it's referring to. Probably like a top university. It's like alluding to Seoul University or something. And then and he is named by the name of Woo Seung Hyun. He enters a company. So the first day of his internship, he gets to know his boss, Kim Jong Chan. But then he's like, oh, he starts having a crush on him because, wow, my boss is so good looking. In the planning division manager or whatever. Yeah, as a planning division manager. And I was like, oh, then it starts out like, oh, I got a feeling that he doesn't like me as an intern, the new intern. But then from not he liking, feeling that his boss doesn't like him, he realizes actually his boss does kind of seem to, there's kind of bungling kind of thing, where the situations like him getting drunk at work, the boss bring him back home, sending him back home in a taxi or things like that, all these kind of things that kind of like breach the kind of transition into the basically the movement, the final, the kind of thing about them kind of developing feelings for each other. And then there's also the whole thing, one of the bosses client is actually that Sun Hyun's former crush, actually the first crush in university. Okay, so it's like I mean the whole thing about BL, as you can tell, is a very exclusively gay theme kind of drama. So it's not something that I think that I mean, there's no, I was expecting, are they gonna kiss, are they gonna have anything like that is sexual in a way, like implied sex scene, if not anything else. And it seems that there wasn't any. So it was quite surprisingly, it was actually much more conservative. I would assume that for the very fact that the conservative culture in Korea would have actually limited that kind of manifestation of some things like sex scenes, because even heterosexual theme like romances and all this in movies and dramas are heavily subject to censorship. Okay, they have a censorship board as well. It's not as strict as in Singapore, but even then, or even elsewhere like China, but even then they are still quite concerned, because it's always linked to the whole thing about family values. And yeah, Korea is a very neo-Confucianist society in many ways. So, but surprisingly, I realized that it was a lot of this whole thing about the fact that they have feelings for each other. They realize that they do like each other. The boss hopes that in a way that the intern will actually end up uh, staying on because he's not just attracted to him, but because or this not just because they're dating or whatever, but because the intern is just Wu Sen Huan just happens to be a very good talented person with ideas, good ideas. So the whole thing is just basically that there are some scenes of comedy, there are some scenes of like with the female characters like Kang Hei, who's also another intern who barely finished high school, and then also Sun Hyun's good friend, female friend, Ji Yeon, who's actually working in a company in another department, who just happens to simply know that he's interning at the company, and they have jokes about like who is he falling in love with, who is he having a relationship with, things like that in the company. So they're trying to guess. I said there's no one in the company that good looking except for maybe the boss of that particular department. Then the whole thing about him spitting out his coffee, because obviously he was trying to keep a secret, but he keeps on saying, oh, he's a very good looking and tall guy. Who would not guess it if he's the only one whom they say is good looking in the company? So I guess there's a kind of like element of the romantic comedy that they're trying to import into that genre of BL. So personally, from my point of view, I mean, okay, I don't know any one of these actors. As I said, most of the people who act in BL dramas are not exactly, they're not gay, they're heterosexual, and I don't know any of these actors or actresses personally, because I'm not Korean, but I was vaguely linked to one of the I'm very vaguely linked, loosely connected in the sense that Moon Ji Young is this, I don't know him personally, but uh in one episode, I just remember that actually we had the same photographer once. Who was this Kim Ki Song? Yeah, he actually shot him for his uh like profile shoot once. It's a profession for his portfolio for his model, and then not just for model but for as an actor, yeah, his professional portfolio as an actor. And then in the case of like my case, I'm still waiting for pictures from Kim Ki Song sonography, but he actually shot me just this year. So and sometime I do kind of realize, oh, this is a very small world in Korean photography and media. So people who have been kind of loosely connected and everything. So realize also that's why I wanted to watch the drama to know whether what I think of him, just to know what I really kind of think of him as an actor. Because I mean, the first thing is that we all know Korean actors are, most of them are pretty good looking. So beyond the good looking, I want to know whether they are good actors. And it does appear that I mean, the acting wasn't that bad. The acting was pretty good. So and just from a very typical critical point of view, I was saying that the actors are very good. Kwon Hyuk is actually a very good actor. Surprising. He's a new actor. He's going to appear in the drama series of Love in the Big City. Yeah, the drama version, which is again as one of the characters. So I'm not sure what else he has appeared in, because generally he's a very I mean, just like Moon Ji Young, they're both very new, relatively new actors. And the the thing with this drama itself, the new employee has been nominated for one particular movie award or entertainment award in Korea. Relatively small, like I think it's not Piksang. Piksang is a very big. Piksang Awards is a very highly prestigious award, but there's some others. But on the whole, it's actually it's a pretty good, interesting, I would say, very short drama. Every episode is probably only around 20 to 25 minutes. Maximum is around 20 minutes. I would say 20 minutes at tops, yeah. So it's really easy to digest, and you can kind of figure out. So there was a total of 7 episodes, and I don't want to give a spoiler, but in a way they kind of end up together, obviously, which is a meant to be a thing as a called romantic comedy slash BL drama. There's very little hints about any kind of like sex, which is obviously why you're trying to kind of appeal to a bigger demographics. And there was an extended scene where they kiss in his home, in whose home, the character of Kim Dong Chan, the boss's home. That's the only one, but I think that was in the movie version. So the movie was the one that was nominated. Yeah, but on the whole, bad. Uh, it's not a bad drama. It's pretty interesting, and there are some established characters, or actors in that particular one. But on the whole, I wouldn't say, because BL is still a very it's an emerging genre in Korean entertainment and movies and even drama. So, and there's always a risk. There's always a kind of risk of the backlash, okay, from a very conservative, ultra conservative audience who will say, no, no, we don't even want these characters at all. We don't want any mention of it. It's like don't ask, don't tell thing. So, you can have like you can always expect that like kind of fight back and firing backwards. Yeah, that happens. But on the whole, I would say, I don't want to rate it, because from my personal point of view, it's just like I said, there are so many factors to whether this particular emerging genre will even be successful, and it will also affect the actors' livelihood and in many senses. These actors do take it on just as kind of like a livelihood, but even if they are not really gay, but in a way it does kind of reflect on certain things about the changing demographics and also the kind of people in their beliefs in Korea and everything. But yeah, that's it for now. And will I actually watch another like BL drama if it's recommended? Maybe yes, maybe not. It's not my main field of research. I don't exactly know much about that kind of thing, except beyond what I've already said. But I guess that if I could kind of like get onto some kind of like a forum, like Reddit forums, to look at the uh, comments in not just in English but in Korean, and yeah, I could kind of figure out more or less what people are actually thinking when it comes to all these kind of channels. And then that's where I think I can do some research to write an article. And yeah, so that's it anyway for now. I'm off, and I actually have to go and sleep now. It's quite late. Okay, have a good one, everyone. Okay, bye bye.